welcome back. My name is Becca, and this is Rex with Bex. And I am excited to talk to you about all the books I've been reading lately. I love reading books in season, and so with it kind of being okay. So where I am, I'm living in Illinois right now. I'm from Minnesota, and so in my mind, winter is November through like April. And I love it. I love the cold. I'd rather have a negative 20-degree day than, I don't know, weird, changing, fluctuating weather, which is what Illinois is. Literally yesterday, there was snow, and today it is like 68 degrees up. So I don't really know why I'm wearing this, but uh yeah, so I like to read books in season, like I was saying, and so I've been reading winter books. It's been nice, it's been cozy. I miss winter. We lived overseas, so there wasn't really a winter there. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna read winter books and like feel the winter vibes all around me. Um, so that's kind of been happening, kind of not. But yeah, so that's what today is. We're gonna be talking about winter books. I'll kind of go in the order that I read them in. And yeah, I hope that you find these books interesting. Maybe you've read them before, maybe you haven't. Yeah, just let me know what your thoughts are. Um, so yeah, without further ado, we'll just jump into it. The first book I'm going to be talking about is Comfort and Joy by Christine Hanna, and I have never read a book by her before. I know she's super popular. I know, like, her name is everywhere, her books are everywhere, I know that, but that's kind of been the reason why I haven't read her books. I'm definitely a person who doesn't like to read super popular books, even if I know they're gonna be really good, even if I know I'm gonna, like, really like it's so hard for me to read popular books. I just don't like to be put in that bubble, and so, as you'll see today, hopefully, and, like, just in my videos in general, I like to read a little bit older books, not even necessarily older books, but just not, like, this year release books. And so yeah, first book, Comfort and Joy. I picked up at a thrift store. I love thrift shopping. Honestly, I feel like half the books here at least are from thrift stores. And yeah, I I didn't really love this book. So, as I said in my previous video, I don't really read a lot of romance books. I think I have two today that I'm going to be talking about. And so this one was like a romance book. But that's not necessarily why I didn't like it. I just the relationship between the main character and her sister was super unrealistic for me. So there's this girl, she just got a divorce from her husband because he was cheating on her. That's not really a spoiler, it's in the back of the book. And then you realize in chapter one, also, I don't feel like this is a spoiler. You realize that he was cheating on her with her sister. And so that's like the side story. The main story is her. She's going to the Pacific Northwest, which is really fun for me because one of my best friends is from that area. And so I've been there a couple of different times, so I can visualize all the things that the book's talking about. So that made it fun. I love just like cozy log cabin winter vibes. So I did like that about this book. But like the worst perk for me was the sister dynamic because the main character and her sister, they like the main character is feeling so guilty for not forgiving her sister fast enough, and then she forgives her and then she's trying to make amends, and her sister like feels bad, but like she's still with the husband, the ex-husband. She's still like I feel like the sister moved on so quickly. And I'm a big like forgiveness is super important, but you can forgive someone and then, like, not have them be your best friend anymore, like, that's valid. And this book was just the sister dynamic was just super weird, I didn't like it. I think I gave this book, like, a 2.5 just because of the dynamic. But yeah, that is this book, Comfort and Joy. The next book that I'll be talking about is Brightly Shining. I think this book has become more popular lately, or at least the people who I follow. they really like this book too. It is Brightly Shining by Ingvild Rishoи. I think that's how you say her name. Um, this book, first of all, the cover is beautiful. This book is written by a Norwegian author. I love reading books from different countries. I just love the perspective that it gives. And this book was really sad. I read it around the holidays, so it was just like a heavier book. It is a heavier book. So these two girls and their mom isn't in the picture. I can't remember if she passed or like there was a divorce or something. They live with their dad and he drinks a lot. He can't keep a job. And so these two girls are trying to like find a way to like provide for the family. And they are like 10 years old and then the other one's maybe like 14. So they're like younger, like not like middle school age children. Um and it was just really sad, but also really sweet to see how they care for each other and how different people in the community care for them as well. The end for me was a little confusing. I don't want to spoil it, but I did have to research online at the end, like what actually happened in the book. Um, but yeah, this is just one of those books where it's so real life, and it's heavy, and I oftentimes like just like sadder real books because that's what life is. It's not always happy or romance and like colorful. It's like the in and out of daily life. And that's definitely what this book is. I think I gave it like a 4.5, but yeah, the ending was interesting, which is probably why it didn't get rated higher. So, yeah, that is this book. The next book, this book, oh my goodness. So I've been wanting to read this book forever. It is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. And this has been on my bookshelf for 2 years now. I tried to start it last year, but just got caught up with the craziness of life and felt like I couldn't dedicate enough time to really focus on it. So I put it down, but I was like, it's not because I don't like it. I just don't have time for it. And I finally was able to read it. I really enjoyed it. I felt like um so the premise of this book is that the main character's brother and his fiance are having their engagement party in the Swiss Alps at this sanatorium that has been refurbished into a hotel. And already I'm like, whoa, like that's like creepy and intense and really cool. And the main character, she is a detective back in the UK. And so that plays a role in this as well. There's a murder, then there's a couple more murders. And I think one of the reasons why I like this book was because I would guess who the bad guy was. And then something would happen. I'm like, whoa, that's is totally not that person anymore. So I just really appreciate that about this book. I know some reviews online didn't like how it kept twisting and turning, but I was okay with that. So, yeah, I think I gave this one I don't there's one book here that got 5 stars, but I think this one also got, like, they're 3.5 or a 4 star, overall, and the ending of this, so, like, the case is closed, like, she's going back home, and then the last little snippet is so intriguing that there's apparently 2 or 3 other books, with this detective as the main character, and I feel like I have to read the next one because the last snippet was so interesting. So, yeah, that is a sanatorium. The next book, you guys are gonna laugh, I listen to on Spotify, so I don't have the physical copy, but the physical copy kind of was like red and blue and had cherry blossoms. So this is just gonna represent that. But the book is called Malice by Keigo Higashino. It's a Japanese author. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. But this is another book that I'm in like several different book clubs. And this was a book that was almost chosen for the book club last year. And then we didn't read it. So I really wanted to read this book. I wanted to read this book for over a year, and it was finally winter-ish here, in Minnesota, all the things. And so I read it or I listened to it, and it was really interesting because, again, I there was, like, 3 main twists that happened, um, where okay, I think there's, like, 3 main twists and, like, 4 different sections of the book. And so the first section comes up, there's, like, the best friend, the author, and then the author's wife, and the author gets killed, and the best friend and the author's wife have, like, the perfect alibis, so it's not either one of them. But then the detective comes along, and he starts to accuse different people, and things start to unravel, and then there's the first big twist, and then it gets slow for a bit. That was so I think I rated this book like a 3 stars or like 3.75 because the first chunk was, like, super interesting, and the big twist made it even more interesting, and then I got pretty long. The investigation got long, and there was another big twist, and that was long investigation, and then the final big twist, and then the ending was really interesting too. Um, and so the whole time I was reading it, I was like, "Okay, this is kinda slow." Um, but the message at the end was really good. And so maybe I did give it 4 stars. I don't remember. But I would say it's a slow burn of a book. It's a slow read, but the 3 twists keep you engaged, and then the message at the end is really good. So pick it up, stick with it. It'll be worth it, in my opinion. The next book that I read is called Sun and Shadow and is by I.K. Edwardson. This is a Swedish crime writer. And when I read the back of the book, I thought this was super interesting. And the book was interesting, um, but it was also really slow, which is kind of a bummer. So this book has almost 400 pages. It has 392 pages. And I would say at least the first 100 pages, you were just like getting introduced to characters. It jumps between, I think, 4 different point of views. And so that was kind of confusing in the beginning, just trying to like grasp who's talking, who's not. And then you also get the killer's point of view. And of course, the killer's unnamed in the beginning. So it's just like, who's that person? It was just really confusing and it was a really slow burn. I don't think this is a spoiler. No, it's not. Um, the detective's dad passes away, and while that does obviously affect a person and his ability to be a detective, I felt like that was part of what made the first 100 pages so slow because the book takes place in Sweden, but the detective's parents live in Malaga, Spain. And so he's in Malaga caring for his dad during his final days. And there's just like a lot of like messiness, which makes sense because it's like he's processing, there's like hard feelings, but you never really figure out why there's hard feelings. I don't know if this is just like not the first book in his series or something, and so I'm like not understanding things. Should probably look into that. But it just felt slower. The There were 2 or 3 different murders that occurred in this book, and they were very graphic and like pretty creepy. So I just didn't love it. It took quite a bit to read, longer than I had wanted. Um, but yeah, so I think I gave this like 3.5 stars. The next book, and like I said, I usually don't read romance books, but the main reason I picked up this book is because of the Olympics, and I love the Olympics. I love watching hockey and ice skating and just seeing all the countries come together and just I love sporting events, so that was really fun. And so the next book that I read was is called Finding Her Edge, and it is a Netflix, like, limited series, I believe. I have not read that. It's by Jennifer E. Coppelli, and I really enjoyed this book. Um, Even though it was a romance for me, it was really good. I felt like it was just so timely with the Olympics. There's these three Uso girls and their mother passed away, but their dad and their mom were both professional ice skaters and had competed at the Olympics. And now the three girls are just amazing athletes as well. And the main girl's older sister went to the Beijing Winter Olympics for ice skating. And then the main girl, Adriana, and her younger sister, they are going to Worlds in Paris with the hopes of then, like, doing well enough to compete in the Milan Olympics, which literally just happened. So I just felt like it was so timely, so fun. That this book, when after I finished reading it, there was a lot of different like mixed feelings online about it, because of the different love interests in it. And I honestly didn't mind. I see what the people online are saying, how there's like two guys and you're either team this guy or team that guy. And she tried to like love them both. um and yeah, I just like love is messy. You can't always like choose who you love, and like she tried and I get it, and like sometimes you are just oblivious to people's feelings and you don't want to hurt people but you do, and so that felt really real in this. And so yeah, I gave this 4 stars, which I was that's like pretty high praise for me in a romance book, 4 stars. But yeah, with the Olympics going on and just like they felt like pretty mature in some ways for their age, maybe just because they're athletes. And otherwise it was like, oh yeah, they're definitely like high schoolers. Um, just with how like boy crazy they were at times. But I yeah, just really enjoyed this book. It was a very light read compared to this book, which was very dark and heavy and a murder and like a disturbing murder. So this was like really light and fast paced. I think I read it in like 3 days. Um yeah, just really cute, really fun. I already like ice skating, and so it made me want to like go out and ice skate again. So yes, that is Finding Her Edge. The final book that I read, I we actually just finished this last night. My husband and I listened to again. I don't own the first book in Beartown, which is called Beartown, and so this is the second book, and it's just gonna represent the book Beartown. But it's by Frederick Bachman, who's one of my favorite authors. I love Beartown. I've already read this book. I read it like 2 years ago and just loved it. 5 stars, easy 5 stars. And I really want my husband to read it because he doesn't really read, and this is like one of my favorite books. And so he said yes to listening to it to and from our drives to Chicago because we go to Chicago every week for medical stuff. And I just like remembered why I fell in love with it. The different quotes in it are so good. Frederick Bachman like writes so raw, and he's like so in touch with like the human emotion, and just like some of his sentences, they'll be like not a complex sentence in like structure form, but like complex in like what they're trying to get at. Like the idea is complex. And so I just felt like I was thinking the whole time, really feeling the different things the characters were going through, getting mad when the one character was just like so cowardly and so just entitled. Um but yeah, it was really fun to reread with Ryan. Um, there are midway through the book, the first book, there is a pretty big trigger. So if you haven't heard of Beartown, you're interested in reading it, just know that like halfway through it gets really intense. And then it's like the aftermath of what happened. But the main story of Beartown is that it's this little tiny hockey town. I believe it is in Sweden as well. And the people just live in the middle of nowhere, like surrounded by woods. Hockey is the way of life. Um, like the town's dying basically besides their hockey program. and these kids who they've been training their whole lives to be on the junior team, then the A team, which is like more of the professional team, and they're all trained to be like NHL players too. Uh, it's just like the team camaraderie and then the complexity of like, do you put your team first or your family first or the town first? And it's just really messy. There's different characters who you like think are gonna be the stars and who like the underdog comes through. And I love how the book came together. I'm from a pretty small town in Minnesota. The closest town to me is 200 people, and the next closest town is 5,000. And it's definitely a hockey town. So it felt like these things could be true of my hometown. Um, and yeah, so that like extra made me feel like I can connect to the book, just like the small town vibes and like we stand together in loyalty, but also the small town vibes and like your business is everyone's business and everyone can take offense in your business. Um, so yeah, love Beartown. Super excited to read this book, which is the next book in like the 3 set of Beartown. And also, it was just really timely at the Olympics as well because I was watching both the women's and the men's U.S. hockey team. So yeah, really excited about these books. Wish there could have been more like highly rated books. Beartown was a great note to end on for me though. I do have, because I love winter and fall so much, I do have so many more winter books I want to read, but with it being like 68 degrees outside, I think I'm gonna pivot into more lighthearted or mystery. I guess that was not lighthearted at all. Just other genres. I feel like for me, fall has a specific set of books I like to read. So does winter, and then spring and summer is just like whatever you want. And so I think I'm entering the whatever I want era. So I'm excited for the randomness. I won't be tied down to a certain season. I'm excited for March because I have some exciting plans coming up that I can't wait to share with you guys. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned, like, subscribe. Hopefully you learned about some books that you've never heard of before. And comment below what your favorite winter book is. Okay, thank you. Bye.